that you are going to explain, you know.
In English?
Yeah, in English. So you never know. You need that, you know. Sometimes maybe no, your English is so good. It's at least to me, to my experience, when I learn Buddhism through English medium, I find actually it helped me more than sometimes I read Chinese, because I have a lot of take it for granted. But when I read that in English, then you know it actually is a way, you know, we can learn something anyway from English medium. Now before we start that, I need to refresh few words. Otherwise, maybe sometime this is very common word that you have to use in English. Theravada, it's 三座部佛教, right? You know. Can you remember what Theravada? It's a kind of Buddhist. The original mean Thera mean the elders. Vada is actually literally mean speech or word, but it mean a school. You could say the school of elders. Like you see the monks in Thailand, in Sri Lanka, in Cambodia, or from Cambodia, or even from Burma or Myanmar. Now they call themselves as a Theravada Buddhism. Okay. Of course, one other thing is that not that they just call themselves as a Theravada Buddhism, they also believe that they are actually direct lineage from the Buddhism, because they hold the earliest Buddhist scriptures. Okay. Arahat, another term. Remember, in Chinese called Rahan or Arahat. Okay. It means somebody who complete kind of a defilements and also kind of a reincarnation. The Buddha as a title too, you know, it means someone who is awakening. Now, just now during the break, she was asking a good question. Actually, I said in the early scriptures, they don't believe that there are two Buddha in the world. They only believe that in one of the, maybe best to say this, when there's still Buddhist teachings going on, they shouldn't have another Buddha, just only one Buddha. Okay. So, I mean, that's how early scripture understand. You cannot claim that there was second Buddha.
Two versions. You basically mean there's two versions about the Buddhas. Right?
No, in the early scriptures version, or you could say early Buddhism, understand the Buddha is only one person, and there's no more any other Buddha can be exist. Yeah, okay. During there was a Buddhist teaching still going on. Yeah, mirror is Pusa. But of course, sometimes we honor the Maitreya, the mirror, so we could call him as a Buddha. It's just an honorary, but as a practice stage, he's just a Bodhisattva. Okay. All right. You know the term Bodhisattva in Chinese? Yeah. Okay. The Pusa. Okay. And or sometimes you could say Bodhisattva or so Bodhisattva. Okay. In Sanskrit, it's called Bodhisattva. Okay. No, Bodhisattva is a Pali. It's kind of colloquial language. And you know that in general, at least so far, understand this way now. Bodhisattva always been understood someone who hasn't attained Buddhahood yet.
Next to the Buddha.
Yeah.
Highest level next to the Buddha.
No, not the highest one. Actually, just a still. No, the Buddha is the perfect one, right? The Bodhisattva is perfect, but just still need a little more to become a Buddha.
One more step.
Yeah. To Mahayana usually understood this Bodhisattva like a Guan Yin is not that he couldn't reach it, he just didn't want to do that. Okay. However, Bodhisattva can be understood even in Mahayana, I mean someone who just vow to become that way. Okay. Because they don't mind how many reincarnations they take place, they just want to be reached to Buddhahood. They didn't want to become Arahat. So it also can be called as a Bodhisattva. So, yeah, that's and then what is Mahayana?
Northern Buddhism.
Yeah, Northern Buddhism, or you could say Dachen. Okay.
That's most Tibetan. That's most Tibetan.
No, including Chinese too. They claim themselves as a Mahayana Buddhism. Even though in textual study, in Chinese text, you have both. But they like to call themselves as a Mahayana practitioner. Okay. Okay. Hinayana, you know the term, okay? I mean the small vehicle, right? But please also understand the small vehicle, strictly speaking, is not the same as a Theravada. Because to the Hinayana, in Tibetan Buddhism or the Hinayana, even in Chinese Buddhism, is a different kind of school. Not exactly the same as a Theravada, but okay, that's more detail. But you just remember, not necessarily they refer to the same thing. Okay.
They're slightly different.
Because they call it Hinayana. Actually, it's always referred to a certain Northern Buddhist school. Okay, who have the early Buddhist scriptures, almost like the Theravada, but a lot of philosophical understanding is quite different. Though. That's why I say you cannot. Strictly speaking, you don't take it the same thing. But I mean, so far, normal, in general, if you're not in the academic field, you just take, okay, Hinayana, Theravada is Hinayana. That's how they think it. Okay, all right, okay.
So what is the major difference?
What
You said there's something...
What is the major difference between the Mahayana and Hinayana?
Not Mahayana. You said that you cannot refer the Hinayana to that but what was the major difference that you can say you cannot refer to?
Okay, that's good. Actually, the Hinayana, it's a general term, those who just satisfy to attain Arahant, right? Okay. Theravada also, they also satisfy just to attain Arahant. They don't have to become a Buddha, right?
Okay.
Right, they share the same thing. Yeah. But the major difference, if there's the major difference is actually philosophically, the practice path. I mean, this is a detail, so much. The detail different. There's a detail different. I want to say that even historically, when they always refer to Hinayana, strictly speaking, they are not referred to the Theravada school. They refer to other schools. Okay. Okay. Don't worry. In the future, there's certain chapter you will talk about that also. Yeah, yeah. What is the Tathagata? The term Tathagata. Yeah.
You did not mention that was.
Yeah, you good. Thank you. I didn't write it. I didn't write it down because of we struggle with the board. We will struggle with the board. Ru Lai. Tathagata. Okay. All right. Those are the terms, unfortunately, when you study Buddhism in English, you have to kind of know. When I say Hinayana, Mahayana, Arahat, Buddha, Tathagata maybe not. It's not that often we have to refer in English. But if you study Chinese Buddhism, that's an important term. And then Arahat, and Theravada. So, I mean, those are the, okay, it just to refresh the term. Now let me answer this question, the Buddha and the Arahat, because this is Chinese especially. They are very interested. Because culturally, I just mentioned, actually, it's believed that, according to the Buddhist understanding, we reincarnate again and again, right? And then, but you also reincarnate one galaxy system to another galaxy system. Galaxy. Okay, in our okay, usually Chinese translate as 世间, okay, 世界, loka. Okay. It's one. The word actually loka is not Earth. It's one galaxy. Okay. But we have the proof for that. So because it mentioned how big the loka is, and then up is what, down is what, what. So it should be always talking about galaxy. Now, in the commentary understanding, if someone who become a bodhisattva and become a pusa, they need a certain quality. Of course, one thing, the quality, they have a certain attainment. 就是我们证到第几个阶位. This is a big topic too. So when they attain a certain quality, and this kind of person will always different from the others. Maybe they were born in a place that no Buddhism to study because the whole Buddhism was gone. They can be other religions. So that's why some people joke like Jesus can be a bodhisattva, according to Buddhist understanding. But he has a good quality. But he was born in a place no Buddhism. So he might be, somehow he know what is the good for the spirituality, somehow like that. Anyway, I'm not here to argue that those things. I just say, let's take that as an example. So, When they reach that quality, they always they be born in a good place. Okay, but they will not necessarily always have the correct understanding according to what the Buddhism think. But they just be a good person, a good kind of sentient being. Okay. Now and they could be also even born in this galaxy, but they might be after they pass away, they born to other galaxy. However, only until when that Bodhisattva met a Buddha, physically I'm talking, met a Buddha. When they met a Buddha and they get inspired by the Buddha, and the Buddha will tell them, okay, you definitely one day you will become a Buddha. And that Buddha could predict, kind of like, it won't be longer than when you become a Buddha. That time, that's how the Buddhist tradition understand. That Bodhisattva will never be born in other galaxy. And they will never be born in between the two galaxies, the dark side, the dark place. I don't know where is it, but how is the Buddhist scripture say? So, and then that person, like a Maitri Buddha, Mila Pusa, you said, and they would be bound to be born in the same galaxy, and they could be born in some other place, but at least how that's what we believe, that the earth would be the best place, because the earth had the good part and the bad part. Because of the bad part, mean the evil side, or it could be also because of the suffering side. So you definitely want to practice. Otherwise, we don't practice anything if we don't have suffering. We just, So anyway, so that's what the Buddha mean. In other words, according to traditional meaning understanding, in one galaxy at a time only can be just one Buddha be born. Okay. He's not Buddha. Sariputta, Sariputta is Arahant. Arahant is the one, it's very powerful practice. But why they call Arahant also, and not call a Buddha, as I say, he's not a founder of the Buddhism within the same galaxy. Okay?
It's a translation of his name that's misleading, because his name is Sariputta, the son of Sari. But sometimes in Chinese it's 34, so people assume he's also a Buddha.
是吗？哦，因为舍利弗啊，你说舍利弗那个弗字吗
？Yeah, Buddha. Sariputta.
No, 舍利弗我们 in Chinese 一般我们是写这个弗啊。
也对，
没有人字旁的 ，we don't 没有人字旁的。对。哦。No, Sariputta. Oh, and then the word Sari. It's okay. This is something to do with the Chinese, and they confuse with the word with the Buddha. No.
那人家说文思势利菩萨，其实他是佛，
You know, this is interesting, is because we have to understand, according to tradition, the Bodhisattva is always someone who will be reborn again, always someone who have a great compassion and great 大慈大悲, and great loving kindness and compassion and so forth. And they might be living in a certain heavens, they have a long life, but they still have to be reborn.
那为什么佛说我们每个人都是佛呢？
都可以成佛。
Yeah, but that statement, everyone can be a Buddha. That refer to in Mahayana, because we are talking about the Buddha nature. The Buddha nature.
Everyone can be a billionaire.
Everyone can be billionaire, right?
Yeah. You are not.
In other words, you have the potential to be a billionaire. You have the potential to become a Buddha. But it doesn't mean that you have to be a Buddha.
可是如果
You have to be a
只
Buddha.
有一个佛的话，那你说有 potential 可以成为 Buddha， 那是不可能的啦。如果按照你的逻辑的话，对不对？你说这个 galaxy，
所以人家说弥勒佛要来将来接替。
So the civilization has to go down, and the Dharma has to be lost for another Buddha to come in.
是不是？
Is that the question? So what's your question?
我 question 是说，你刚刚不是有讲说我们有佛性，然后是有机会成佛，对不对？那但是你之前有讲说只有一个佛，
只有一个佛的，佛的
只有一个佛的。
在有佛法的时候就有一个佛。
哦，有佛法的时候。
因为就是佛的出世，就是因为在没佛法，佛才要出世啊。对啊。
哦，所以因为我们现在有佛法，所以是还是就那个佛，所以我们不可能有佛性，但是我们不可能成佛，因为已经有佛了。
所以就修修南传变成一个道。
No， 不是南传，有，
就是一锅，就是一个小佛了，也不是，不是佛，他不是佛，他是阿罗汉。但是你说阿罗汉也不再来啦。
Okay, I guess maybe.
就是我们的目的。
Can you help me some? I just put it that what is Arahant? 你跟我 erase 它一下。
就是我们的目的了。
No.
你不要，到时候又坏笑了。
No.
是不是？啊？没有，因为我们现在上的是基础班嘛。
Okay. No, this is not fundamental. She said that we are in a fundamental Buddhism, so but she was asking question actually is quite difficult at once if you study Buddhism. But definitely in China is very popular with they kind of like have a certain different type of knowledge. That's what I mean by the Mahayana knowledge. But the problem to me, I mean, this is nothing to do with I'm not criticizing, but the problem to me in China mostly they don't learn the basic teaching first, and they learn the so-called the Mahayana teachings first, and the loss of base, the ground is not clear to them. Okay. Anyway.
Can I make a comment? From what I understanding is there's probably two different ways of referring to Buddha. One is the one who founded the Buddhism. That's the only one.
Yeah.
But the only another one is like yes, you said it's a title. It's a title of first awakened one, including the Rohan. It can be called or from the second category of way of think about it, because they are awakened one. They can be called Buddha. That's the two different way of think about the Buddha terminology. That's what I understand.
Yeah. But and she was let's say this, you know, it's according to it's believed that when we practice, we can reach a certain type of sainthood. Okay, 就是成为圣者、圣人。And then the sainthood you have so you could be Sotapanna. You have to reach the Sotapanna first. 就是我们说出果，就须陀洹果。Sakadagami, and then you are in the 二果 the Sakadagami, and then you are in the Anagami. That means 你就三果，我们叫做不还果，哈。And then Arahant. So
总共只有4果。
是，一般来讲，严格，我先讲简单的哈，就是4果。You cannot jump. I mean, you can jump. You cannot say I don't reach this, I reach this, and I just no. That's not possible. Okay. So that means then you become a perfect person. And this is why it called you don't have to study anymore. And these 3 kind of sainthood, even you reach, you still have to study. So 我们叫有学啊。This word actually from Sanskrit to Shiksha, mean you still have to learn. But when you go be Arahant, you're the perfect. You don't have to learn anymore. Okay. To be a Buddha, okay, actually, in early Buddhism is the same thing. You have to go through this, but you just don't need the last one. I might not actually. You're the same one, yeah, but you just only have a different name. You call Buddha, because the reason why it's because you didn't learn from the Buddha teachings. You just rediscover the thing by yourself. Get it now? You don't have a teacher to teach you, but you. according legend believe that why you don't need a teacher because in the past you are actually been a lot of teachers already. Anyway, in this life you just somehow you can rediscover the truth, so you become a Buddha, right? Now your question is that can everyone can be a Buddha, right? Of course everyone can be a Buddha, but the thing it is, do you have to be the leader of the do you have to become someone like the Buddha in order, or do you have to be the person who discovered the teaching without do you have to be the one who discovered the teachings? Basically, you don't have to be.
这和这个 leader 有什么关系呢？所以你说佛就是最高的精神领袖。
No. Actually, the Arahant and the Buddha, for the practice purpose, there's no difference. Okay, the only difference is that we always say the Kalyana mean 这个善巧方便，听过这个字吧？Skillful means. The only difference between the Buddha and Arahant is a skillful means. That means the Buddha has much powerful supernatural power, has much powerful of the like divine eyes. Normal people see a person maybe just 100 life. He could see billion life, for example. Are those what we call the skillful means? You get it now? But for liberation's sake, for cut off the reincarnation, they are the same. Okay, maybe best to say this. Einstein, maybe easier to say that. I don't mean Einstein, I don't know much about him, but let's say Einstein is the only best scientist in the world. Let's say. You couldn't find second Einstein. Okay? But because of Einstein, so a lot of people become a scientist, right? Inspired by him, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if Einstein is the only person who can be the greatest, the father of the science, for example, if you want to say that way. But then the other just the science students, right? But this is not to say that their achievement, when I say achievement, it's not to say that, let's say there's a kind of spirituality development, they can reach to the same spiritual development. But just ability different because just ability is different. The answer you could say, imagine, of course this is not the truth. Imagine there's a person that he has much powerful in take care with the people, tackle with the persons, and how to say, looking after the whole community. Then that's what I mean by the Buddha. The Buddha, because his past life have been practiced a lot of good things, and he had a long experience in the past life, so that in this life he has much more talented way, or you could say, to tackle everything. That's what I mean by the quality of the Buddha. Okay.
那我们讲一个状态好，就是说，这个有学下来，对不对哈？然后有学就是要让自己要怎么平息这个念头，对不对哈？
不是。
那到了阿罗汉的时候，他不是空吗？阿罗汉不就是
No. Okay.
那烦恼就是空啊。
No. If we talk about the emptiness, just presumably emptiness generally mean something quite good quite good stage of practice. Sotapanna have to reach that too. Sakadagami also had to reach the emptiness. Anagami had to reach emptiness. Otherwise, they cannot be the saint.
Oh, 所以
Okay, the big difference between these four, before I reach Arahant, it's this Sotapanna, in his practice, he only cut off certain defilements. Okay, maybe best to say what remains. Sotapanna still get anger.
对。
Sometimes it's also still have the proud, but they don't have this inferior complexity. But he would pride. Sakadagami and the Sotapanna have the same kind of mental situation. Just a slight difference is Sakadagami maybe tend not to have, they are not craving too much sexually. Okay, but when people attend Anagami, the sexuality completely cut off, anger completely cut off. Okay, and the pride is just a little remain. You never can see the people show any prideness in the heart. Maybe inside, but you don't see, you know. Arahant is complete cut off everything. But the realization of emptiness is just one of the stage for them to cut off the defilements.
所以这就习性，就是他们这三个的习性都没了，就是变成阿罗汉。
No.
空，他空了以后
Okay,
还有剩下
allow me to say in
的习性啊
Chinese. 不是。这些阶段不一样，并不是在他的修行方法上。不是因为证到空性，不是因为这些东西对他们来讲一定要证到，不然他连这个出果都达不到的。是只是他们修到那个时候，不是断的烦恼不够彻底，了解吗？所以为什么说出果还会有慢心，这个嗔心，就是就这些，还有一些，当然还有一些贪着这个我们
还有脾气，
不，反正就几个，还有很多了。如果要分析起来哈，断了身见，但是它还是会有这个我们叫做就是有时候不是那么正确的一些不是不正确，就是说有些东西还是会被不是那么清楚的。这就是只是在这个智慧上不一样，理解吗？智慧上因为不一样，所以它断了烦恼不一样。了解吗？
对。
但是呢，你刚才讲的空性，这个对他们来说就是小 case 啦，证到出果的都是小 case 啦。OK。
就是没有到了阿罗汉，就是没有念头了。
不，那惨了，那还做人吗？这干什么？
阿罗汉还有念头。
阿难陀就是阿罗汉啊，沙利布德也是阿罗汉啊，那个你知道的那个舍利弗啊，这些还有目犍连都是阿罗汉啊，他没念头，他怎么样？不可能啊。
他们有念头。
这个我们将来再谈，那个不是跟有没有念头有关系。我们先到这个阶段，你先了解，就是说成为阿罗汉之前，你还有3个阶段要走。
那阿罗汉跟那个布达跟佛的它的定义有什么不一样呢？
我刚才就说了，其实证悟是一样，但是呢，第一就是在还没有佛法的时候，佛是一定
第一个
这一个，第二个就是说，如果你要追溯到过去来看。不是你追溯过去来看，你就可以说，不管是哪一个传统，就这么认为，就是因为过去实际上他本来可以成为这种程度的，他不要，他就等到那一天，他有办法自己透过自己，他看到了这个法义，所以他也换句话说，他走的路更远了。Okay, the best simile maybe to say this: if you want to go to airport, what is the name of airport here? Dallas airport, for example, right? You walk to the airport, and then I just drive a car to airport, or maybe I take a small airplane to airport. Do you see the difference? There's a difference. We reach to the same place, become arahant, but we are different. Why? Because if you walk, it takes how long for you to walk there? If I just take an airplane, or maybe I drive a car, or if I ride a bicycle, we reach to the place in a different time. Our experience is different. Once you reach to the airport, you can tell everybody, you know, there's a shop there, there's this, what kind of people, what kind of tree, what happened this and that. That's what the Buddha did. So someone who wants to be a Buddha has to reborn billion. 就是三大阿僧子劫 in Chinese Buddhism say， 就是三大阿僧子劫600个小劫嘛。That they had to born 1 billion lifetimes. Not years, lifetime, born. But to be arahant, you have to born only, say, just only maybe kind of like 1/3, not 1/3, 200, something like that. 就是你的时间缩短了。But when you shorten your time, be reborn. Once you know this is the 2 teachings. For example, I know what is emptiness. I know how to practice. But now I think I need to be fine. I don't want to think about anything about future life. I just want to be attained arahant. Then you could just pursue that if you have that power, for example. But someone to say, no, I don't want to. I can be arahant. I don't want to be arahant now. I want to be reborn, because whenever I reborn, I have a good quality of mind. I can help many people, even though I might not be in any religion, but I'm still helping. For example, like that. And then you have to be reborn and reborn and reborn and reborn and reborn and reborn and reborn. This is what they call ที่培养六波罗蜜. That's mean by the perfection. The paramita mean perfection. That's why you cultivate the perfection. Practice is not your main concern. Having a good skill is your main concern. Get it now?
那不是还有实力菩萨吗？
That's another thing. That's why in Mahayana, because this is not encouraged, okay? This is why, but this, for any Mahayana understand this teaching, this is a basic teaching. They just don't encourage you to go here. So the practice is the same. The only difference now, how you become this. So that because you have the ambition to become a Buddha, you don't mind, you want to reborn billion year, you don't mind that. Not year, billion life, you don't mind that. So in this, in order to reach that, they have Siddhi Pusa. For example, Chudi Pusa is equal to this. Not equal, equivalent to this, but they are not the same thing. Get it now?
Equivalent.
Yeah. And when the people reach to this, 八地, 无生法忍地, you heard the term, right?
所以不是7地，是8地。
八地. They said equivalent to this. Are you clear?
Yeah. 那8地完了，为什么还要9地、10地？所以
That's a good question. And different tradition, different Mahayana have different answer. This is a long time. No, that's another. Can we talk that later? Because I know we are jumping on the topics too far. That's a different question. Generally mean because the 第10地, 第9地 is the time that they believe that when you practice that stage, you could see every whole universe, or you could say the sky, so just say the sky, that all the Buddha will appear, and all the Bodhisattva appear, and they were so peaceful that you reach that state, they will tell you one day you will become a Buddha. Okay? You get it now? So that's why that you reach from the 9 to the 10, then it's called Huanxi, and then Soji, and you're happy. Don't forget, according to the early Buddhism, how someone can become a Buddha. I think this is our book say that also. This is what, if you read a book, the Buddhists say that the legend say, long ago, when the Buddha was born in one of the galaxies, actually mean this galaxy. Otherwise he would, because since then he was born only in this galaxy. So he met a Buddha called the Dipankara, London Fo. So, and that's why he inspired, he say, he was a heretic teacher. He was he was not a Buddhist, actually. He was just someone like spirituality, and he inspired by the Buddha. So he was Soji, he was in anointment, he was having anointment, he was initiated, saying that he will become a Sakyamuni Buddha one day. So that's how we have this present Buddha.
所以就是说，在佛之前还有一个佛叫做燃灯佛。
Yeah.
所以等于
No,
是
this, okay.
接住了燃灯佛的位置。
I mean, 你不要这么急了，学佛法。简单的说哈 in general, in Buddhism, believe that in this earth, we have seven. This was Sakyamuni Buddha was the seventh. Yeah, we have 6 Buddha paths.
哦，所以燃灯佛是
7 paths. Chief, oh yeah, the 7 paths. This is 8. This is 8. Yeah, and it's believed that this earth is going to finish, okay, until I think 14 Buddha arrive. 14.
所以就是还有14个新佛。
No, 不是4个，我们一共有14个。
总共14。
我记得是14个，我可能记错，我对这个不是很有兴趣。
下一个就第9个了。
就是弥勒菩萨。
就是第9个。
Yeah.
的佛。
And the last one is the 那个水啊。The last one was 就是那个韦陀菩萨。哦。
那现在不说韦陀菩萨是我们的护法神吗？这是护法神吗？有没有护法神？
你现在问太多了，我们到时再说。观世音菩萨也是你的护法神啊。看你怎么看。Okay, in order to save some time, we just say we come to the page 11, right? The Brahmanical tradition. Actually, this chapter was mainly telling us about what kind of society it was, during the Buddha's time. If I guess that's according what we usually understand. If we don't have that kind of society, maybe we don't have the Buddha, And a traditionalist believe the Buddha before he was born on this earth he was living in a heaven called Dusita heaven. 就是斗帅天. He was living in a heaven called Dusita heaven. And Dusita heaven is one kind of unique heaven because most of the heavens are having a good life there. According to Buddhist understanding, even the people, if they born in the heavens, they become a divine beings there. They might have knowledge of Buddhism. That means they know. When I say knowledge of Buddhism, I mean according to what the Buddhist teaching is about. But they might know it, but they don't like to practice it seriously. You know, I usually see this is almost like in America sometimes. This is my interpretation. You know, for example, in America, actually American people, because of their background or their educational background, they know Buddhism quite well in general, if you want to study, because they have many sources to read. And I mean, when I say quite well, I mean say it in academic. Actually, they learn a lot. I would say even learn more than any, generally, compared to Asia, in general, as a Buddhist, I mean, I'm saying. However, they might ask very sharp questions, very powerful questions, but they are not really sometimes too serious on the practice because the purpose of practice for them is just like, okay, I get this, I'm happy, that's it. You know, like, because their life is a lot of opportunity for them, enjoyment, you know. They would not like, you know, I really have to devote my life, really just only practicing. You know, I'm sure those people who came from Asia somehow know what I mean by that. Somehow, I mean, it's anyway. So it's like that. Even in the heavens, they believe that there are so many different types of heaven. Buddhism, we have about almost 26 levels of heavens, different type of heavens. When I say different type, I mean the heavens is much bigger than Earth, but it's like different kind of material providing or different type of the life, what you call quality there, okay, and the long life also. Let me just cut it short because we will discuss this even in the whole book there later in the other chapter. So, and when he came down, it said that the Buddha was in the heavens and looked down, and he knew that he wanted to born in India accordingly, because Indian provide a good. They should have the condition for someone to become a Buddha. What is that? For example, free will. But if you're born in a country that would not allow you to think freely, you have never to become a Buddha. Okay. Mm-hmm. India was such a place. Why? Because India was so many religions. And then all people respect religion, and there's so many kind of teachings around. Some people believe this, some people don't believe this, some people completely materialistic, some people so-called a materialistic religion, you know, and all type of religion around. So you could say, I don't want to have a family, I go to renounce my life, become a monk. Let's say in America, you do that, everybody criticize you. You must be crazy, right? You must be a bad person, because, you know. But in India, for good or for bad, depends how you look at it, but they allow this thing. But their family tie is so strong, but they still, in that society, allow, even having a so strong family tie, and some people say, tell the parents, I don't want to be married, I don't want to have this life, I just want to have a spiritual life. My purpose is just want to look for the spiritual. That was the society allowed to do that in India, okay? You know, imagine, you know what I'm saying? And you know, this kind of thing allowed is not just because of person, you have to be accepted by the society. So that you even though you go for begging of food, people respect you. Oh, you must be a wonderful person, that you wanted to abandon your family. You don't want to get married, you don't want to do this, but you could just asking for a little food for me because I will do my spirituality. That was the society in India. It's always believed that to be a Buddha is only when you have renounced, okay? There's no way that you say, I don't renounce, I become a Buddha, and not the Buddhist understanding, okay? So that means you don't possess anything at all. You don't have to be possessing anything. So anyway, and that was one thing that society will allow. That's why that kind of society have these kind of religious, many have two groups of religions, understanding. One group is very familiar to American people, that is called the Brahmanical. Just priesthood, mean you can be a pastor, but you have a family, okay? And then you could carry on your but the difference is that you were born as that. In Indian society, you were born as a priest. So your duty is to always, in those days especially, 2,600 years, 3,000 years ago, that your duty is always carry your father's business, right? So if you were born as a businessman, you have to carry the business of the fathers. But if you're born as so I forgot the name of English subtitle. Anyway, No. No. If you carry like a Buddha, if you were born as a prince, then you need to carry the business of the ruling the country. And if you're born as a smith, right? Blacksmith, for example, then you have to carry the father business and so forth. And that kind of thing in Buddhism called a caste system also. So they believe that the God created the universe. In India, it's different actually religion from, even from early time in Indian religion, they don't believe in the God only created the earth, okay? It's not like Christianity. They, from the very early time, even Hindu religion always believe earth is just only one of the planets, okay? Anyway, so they believe that the God created the universe. So not only just create the universe, they also create the social order. That is that they are priests as the higher social order. And then the royal family as, you could say, the second highest social order. And then you have the people who serve the country, businessmen, blacksmiths, and all this, doing handicraft and all sort of things. And they are also, and the other one, which nowadays, of course, Americans hate the most, that is called servant or slaves, you could say. I don't like translate as a slave, but they call the low caste people. That means their social service is to serve the society, to help all these people. Like they do the dirty things, so-called, like clean the bathroom, carry the heavy thing, not heavy thing. That like they do the serving and a servant. So this is how the Indian understand the society is about. And among that, the religious people, like I would say the high caste people, the caste people are the religious people, and these religious people has to do the service. They have two types of it. One is renounce the life, one they don't renounce the life. They carry the family, okay, or they carry their religious business. The father doing that, the son has to do that, and the son also carry that and do the religious. But then the other one is that they think this is not enough. They have to renounce the life and has to go to the forest and do what we call the meditation. Maybe in those days called the meditation. And that kind of system actually provide the good ground for someone can be the Buddha, actually. Okay. And that's the society. Imagine now, even now.
就不能讲说 can be the Buddha， 因为只有一个 Buddha。
No. I'm talking about before the Buddhism came. Before the Buddhism came. Before the Buddhism, they were not Buddhism, right, in India. But they have this kind of religious there. They have the society there. And the religious there also they can...
那个时候是多佛的。
No. Religion, not Buddhism. Nothing to do with Buddhism. 不同的宗教. In India...
它多神教。
No, not necessarily. No. 各式各样教好了，这么简单好。因为其实没有印度教，其实这个字也是后来的东西，都是 after British colonization。其实就像中国一样，就是没有说一个什么宗教，就是大家都是你要么就学这个，要么就学那个。其实教这个 anyway, that's another I want to say in very early time.
那为什么你刚刚说 can be Buddha？ 就是那个时候。
That kind of society. If no such a society, Buddhism would not arise. Okay.
可是他们那个时候已经有 Buddha 的概念。
No, they don't. They don't. No, we are talking about 2,600 years ago, before the Siddhartha was born. Okay. That sort of society in the religion, they have this religion, many type of religion. The main thing is about what we call the Shramana system, and the Brahmana system in the English word. So 就是我们叫沙门团跟婆罗门团，听得懂吗？
对。
When it's like in America, it's called you have a religion. Even in America, you didn't establish that system yet. Of course, everybody know. For example, before I came here, I was in England, applied a visa, and then when I applied a visa, when during the interview, I was asked, "So, are you a monk?" I say yes, because when I feel that I came here and I'm going to serve in a Buddhist temple, right? So I said, I'm a monk. He said, I don't understand what a Buddhist monk is. Can you tell me what a Buddhist monk is? And I could say a lot of things. Of course, I don't think everyone will hear. I just simply say, just like Catholic priests, they don't marry. Oh, I see. But then she asked me, don't you feel sorry that you don't marry? Maybe best that you be a pastor, right? But I say, yeah, but the Buddhist tradition is, in general, that we are just like Catholics. So as a priest, they don't marry like that. Anyway. Now, I just want to say, in those society, they do have that tradition that you have to think about not present time in those days. I mean, for example, in Judaism, if you say that you believe in a religion that you have to renounce your family, oh, it's a big thing. It's impossible. You get it now? But somehow, in Catholic also, and there's a lot of debate. This is not my business, but generally. So then somehow they think that Jesus don't. Okay, I know anyway. And then and then they have this kind of celibacy, kind of understanding. I'm saying that kind we have two movements. One movement is called the Brahmanical movement, and one movement is called the Shramanical movement. Shramana in Chinese 就是沙门了。now 你现在知道为什么我们中文有时候写沙门。那么这个就是婆罗门了。What is the difference between the two? The major difference, Shramana movement is not only Buddhism. There are many Indian religions, they don't marry, okay? They also do meditation, they stay in the forest. Please understand that. Buddhism is just only one of the Shramana movement, okay? So even, for example, the Mao, now they still exist. There are so many have destroyed already by Muslims when they were conquer India. One still exists, Jaina, or what usually we say Jainism, 耆那教. Actually, the founder of the Jainism was born earlier than the Buddha. Okay, but the Jainism nowadays still is a vegetarian, and they had to be vegetarian. And Jainism also mostly in India, in Bombay a lot, and they're mostly businessmen. Why do they want a businessman? They don't want to be farmer. They don't want to kill the thing. Okay, and they are upholding, believing only the vegetarianism. But Mahayanaism actually have highly influenced by this school also. Okay. So this is belong to Shramani movement, because in other words, Shramana movement means they don't marry. They have to live now, renounce the family life to seek for the spirituality. And another traditional called the Brahmanism, it's that they still stay. Not that they have to, but of course in general they still stay with the family. And now this is what we call the Hinduism. Okay? But no, they are the priests. They are the 传教士. They are priests. That's why I say it's more like a evangelical religion nowadays in America, right? But the Shramana is the one that renounce the family life. Okay. You have to understand the word Brahman, the Brahmanism. It may be best to translate nowadays called religious. Like religious caste, religious 就是宗教阶级. Okay. Of course, now they change in the modern time. Some of these religious people, they start to do business now, but they were born as the caste as a religious. Maybe best to use this term. It's just only in the religious caste in the earlier time. a lot of people select to be not follow this, what they call traditional. They would have the children to pass down their knowledge and take care of their business, religious business, rather than renounce a life, have a quite independent way of living, and then have a, because that's, of course, why they have that movement is certainly they are not satisfied with this movement. This is clear. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. For example, like in China, when Buddhism went to China, even say that in any period of time, the main debate is about 传宗接代, right? That is kind of like this. I mean, you can be a religious leader. Why you need to be renounce your family? Why you always have to be, against this kind of having a family? And that's actually is that's how it happened in India already. The debate between, but in Indian society they accept that already, and even before the Buddha was born. Yeah. Okay. It's different from a Chinese history. The Chinese Buddhism went there, the first thing they always debate with the Confucianism, and even kind of, we don't know whether Taoism was how did it come. It's a long history, but definitely they debate with the Confucius idea of a family, right? And that's why the Chinese have a different skillful way to interpret it. For example, they will say, no, that we don't have family. We have a bigger family, for example. That everyone who's become a monk and become a nun is the same family. Okay, and this kind of like a introductory, like the kind of explanation, it has to do with the cultural background. I don't think in India they need that to tell them. They don't need to say because we have a bigger family. Actually, on the contrary, in India, they much more emphasis, I don't need a family. I can be by myself, maybe few of my friends there, and some of my friends around, fine. But we can reach even we have our more time. I have more time to, to practice or to have a more advanced knowledge. Because of the family binding, so I become limited,
所以只有中国人他会说出家人要改成释迦牟尼佛的释什么
that's the one reason.
但是在别的地方都没有改。
No.
所以就中国是，所以说中国人说出家人是一个大家庭，因为都是释迦牟尼佛。
Yeah, but that idea came from because in the Chinese way of understanding, not necessarily Indian way of understanding. That's why in India or even this religion went to like in Thailand and original of teachings, they don't have to say that we all under the same family name. Because in Chinese, when you become a monk or nun, you're also under the same family name, Sakya, means Sakya, That,
所以基本上
yeah.
南传是不用改姓。
不止南传，本来佛教就没有。我已经
只有北传
不止南传，也不是北传，是中国，因为这就是中国的文化，他非得要这样做。
所以中国佛教本来就有南传北传。
当然是，当然了。
那谁是南传的？是六祖啊，还是神秀，还是有没有这个分别？
其实啊，其实
no.
And all the early master to go there. 是佛教的一个宗。
对。
OK， 你不要去想着中国去好不好？因为我们在想印度，不要认为对你没有关系，因为你学的宗教跟这个是从那边过来的，你还是要知道当初那些是怎么状态，你才会知道为什么。反正就是你慢慢你越了解，你会发觉，其实宗教在佛教在那里传到中国，为什么会有这种说法？为什么？这个都是跟中国文化有关系啊。那现在美国嘞，那你要告诉我是中国佛教还是那？你要
才会知道那个悉达多求道记哈，他在写什么？因为这些这样才懂。OK， 看不懂。
All right, so I guess we are almost. Only just 5 minutes left. Why don't we stop here at the moment? Any other questions?
那现在这样哈，空中生妙有的。
No, that's too.
在哪一个状态？是在阿罗汉空中生妙。譬如说，你这个心经里面说“空不异色，色不异空”的时候，这个状态是阿罗汉的状态，还是
一果就行？
一果就有空不异色，色不异空。
是。
所以这一果就可以。
但是后面的有些就不是，那是另外一个事。那个倒是在那讲，那个就在说。Any other questions? Anything?
To do my homework.
Okay.
For next time.
Okay. If you don't, I will just something I answer myself. I mean, might be helpful. Once I was in California, actually, I was staying in a house. I mean, the host is he's a Muslim basically. Anyway, then he was asking me about some question about alien, because he was originally from Pakistan, because these people didn't know the term called alien. 就雅利安啊 alien. We pronounce it Aryan, but in American we pronounce it alien. So, and he was asking that question, but after when I explained to him what Aryan originally mean, and then how the term been used in India, and because later on the term Aryan, it referred to noble, mean somebody who is noble. Okay, so mean the most noble person, mean Aryan. You can be without N or with N, it's fine. So, and then I told him that what the Stramana movement is about, because the Stramana movement had one of the common thing during the 2,600 years ago, that is they had to beg for the food. They don't cook by themselves, because they believe that if they cook, that means they select the food to eat. They want something I like to eat, I want something I don't like to eat, then they reject something that they don't like to eat. So that is against the practice purpose. Okay, that's the Shramana movement, Sama movement. So and then he said that he said something very interesting. He said, "Oh, that's really wonderful. Imagine that if one day America become a country, that they accept actually there are people who don't have to pay the tax, kind of like that, not worry about this, and they just thought, I just wanted to look for the spirituality, and they maybe just kind of renounce the life." And they really live in a very simple life. But what they need is that during just a period of time, say that let's say just, usually they eat one meal a day, okay? That's why they don't eat after 12 o'clock. So they go out and they just bag in the food, right? And then they just do their practices. That might be change American along. So anyway, that's what he's saying. But what I want to say this is, of course, this kind of idea definitely would not be general, except if you talk to any American in general, especially especially you are not from like those countries, like India or what, but you are really born in America or like that. You find a very strange idea, right? Mm-hmm. But according to the Buddhist understanding, if that were this kind of free will, basically mean. You definitely are not cheating people. You just wanted to have a very simple life and just do your own practices, like a spiritual practice, and then you will be very kind to support this kind of people. Mm-hmm. And Buddhists understand only that kind of environment will be able to have Arahant and the Buddha. Okay, that's how the Buddhists understand it. Okay. It's all right if you have a question. So, all right. Now the last thing I'd like to say is that we have few ways of reading the book. Next time when we gather together, one way of it's people like to say that you are going to give a talk. What do you understand? That's what sometimes I do. If the people read the book, I will say, why don't you just explain to your understanding, let's say, to one of the not a chapter, but let's say one of the paragraph or one of the important, one of the main thing, in the same chapter, in the chapter. That's one way of doing the reading. That's definitely providing the people are really read before they come here. Okay, and the other way of doing that is that you don't have to worry about whether you read a book before you come here, but I have to take more. Responsible, kind of like in charge of a thing that I would sit here and start to talk, and until you have questions, And I don't know which way that people prefer, but since this is our first class, and I think what maybe the best, what I think so far, in order to encourage you guys to come for the class, so that you will not feel like you have a great responsible and you fear and you don't want to take that kind of time, then I would just like today, I would just give a guidance, what this chapter is talking about, and then we can have some discussion also. Do you think that's the better way, or you like to have like a presentation way, like everyone want to take charge of the certain presentation?
Presentation.
I think why don't we do this, because this is our first class and we don't have the book also. So why don't we just, next class, we will still follow the same pattern, and then we'll decide, see whether sometime, maybe we can have on and off. I'm quite flexible. It could be someday we need a presentation. If you think you need to have a presentation, you want to have a presentation, definitely is very, very welcome. But otherwise, then I would just, be the lead of the class, okay? And please, if you have time, you could find the book, purchase the book, okay? I'm sure that you can find online, The Foundation of Buddhism, right? Yeah, that's a book, yeah, okay. And I'm quite confident that once you finish this book, you certainly have a kind of bachelor's, a good ground actually of understanding the Buddhism, I would say, because they almost cover every really, really important issues in the Buddhism. This is one of the reasons why this book was highly, recommended. Even it was taught actually in a certain university in America also. Okay. Yes.
So
yeah.
The question is like, so how far are we gonna go? It's like you said like we're gonna read ahead and then because.
Yeah, I think usually it depends on the group. Then definitely some chapter is have a lot of pages. At least we have around 10 chapters here, right? So usually you can just go half chapters a class. Somehow, each time almost half chapters. Yeah. So I think that would be that is quite good already. In other words, it's half chapter would be fine. Like today, actually, what we've been talking, unless some question is really all Chinese Buddhism. But then I think definitely we can go to half chapters already. Yeah. All right. Anyway, thanks for coming. So I will see you next time then. So please don't forget if you have any suggestion or even any questions regarding what you were reading or regarding today the classes also, please write to us also. So then we will try the best, to answer all the questions. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.